So, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Let Beauty Guide You with your host, Chelsea Keene. So, today is going to be really fun because I did an Awake Boudoir photo shoot, and we're going to be talking about that today. And I am so pleased to announce that today we have the lovely couple and business duo Cam Obrien and Kacy Singh to discuss Awake Boudoir with us. So with their Awake Boudoir photography business, their mission is to help women see how beautiful they truly are so they can conquer the world with the confidence of the goddess that they are. They believe everyone is beautiful and they want you to see yourself the way the world does. So welcome, Cam and Kacy.
Hi.
Hey, Chelsea. Thanks so much for having us on the show.
Oh, Chelsea, that introduction, my heart is just melting. I'm like, yes, you need to write for us.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, totally, right? We just created that opportunity.
Awesome. So we'll get right into it. So I know you guys recently changed your name from Conscious Boudoir to Awake Boudoir.
Yeah.
And for people who maybe aren't so familiar with this world, can you walk us through the distinction between, first of all, boudoir, then Conscious Boudoir, and then Awake Boudoir?
For sure. Well, Casey's pointing at me, so I think this is going to be my question.
It's all you.
It's all me. So around the boudoir experience, typically a lot of the focus and the main focus is on the photographs, the result. And it's not so much about the experience on the way to the photo shoot and the photographs as a result. Sometimes there's a transformation, sometimes there's interpersonal discovery, but it's kind of just like a secondary thing that happens. It's not so much like the focus of the experience. And then moving into the space of Conscious Boudoir, it's the people that are involved are focusing on the consciousness of the experience, allowing for the transformation to occur, guided meditations, as well as affirmations, autosuggestion, all these powerful opportunities to use the photo shoot as an opportunity for transformation rather than the transformation just kind of happening if it happens.
Well, I'm just going to jump in there.
Please.
And bounce off that. Basically, it's like, you think boudoir, and for many of us, we may not right off the bat know what boudoir is. I know when Cam told me about it, I'm like, what is that? And then I saw a photo and I'm like, oh, I know what that is. And it's like this instant, oh, it's sexy photos, it's lingerie, or, boudoir, I got to look a certain way to have that certain kind of experience, or my body isn't right. There's all these emotions and things that come up when maybe we, as women, right? I can only talk for myself as a woman, but for me, when I would look at a photo of a really sexy woman in lingerie, I'd be like, I could never do that. But knowing that that's boudoir, and those are the things that would come up. And what we discovered, and when we first started the company, was that I had to go through that experience myself, to actually do a boudoir shoot. And so we did that. And what I realized is the minute we booked my studio space, I had all this fear, emotion come up. And, for the past 10, 15 years, I've been doing a lot of work on myself in terms of going deep, personal development, healing, spiritual work, really getting to know myself. And then that aspect of, okay, there's consciousness involved in this process. There's, understanding this journey. It's not just the photos that are going to be a result. It's these are the fears, the blocks, the emotions that I need to work through. So as I work through them, I realized, well, women are definitely going to need to work through this stuff. So then we thought Conscious Boudoir. And it became more of a transformative experience than, oh, we're just going to shoot some photos of a woman and she's going to pay us and that's it. It was let's work through those things. And then I'll, let Cam jump in on how it transformed from Conscious Boudoir to what's now Awake Boudoir is our company name.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think you really identified something incredibly important in the structure of the Conscious Boudoir, is that people can be really excited for these photo shoots, and what can come up after the signing up for that experience is that a lot of doubts, uncertainty around the experience, not sure how they're going to feel, or not sure if their body is ideally what they want it to be right now. And I think that really embracing that that's something that's natural, that comes up for everyone, and then having a conversation around that with the client so that they know that we're on a team.
So what did you observe, just for our listeners, like from your perspective, what did you observe come up for me? Because I'll go more into detail about my personal experience later, but as like, you being the other party, the observer, the photographer, like what did you see that came up for me?
Well, it's interesting. I see you as this incredibly beautiful, powerful woman.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And and I can also kind of bring this out further to not just you, but every woman that I've shot with, is I see every woman as incredibly powerful, strong, and confident, even if they don't necessarily see that in themselves. Today it's like something that's within them. There's always that potential there. And for you, I've always seen you as that, like luscious and beautiful and sexy. And to have you go through this boudoir experience, I was like, yeah, of course, Kacy's going to do it. She's going to love it. It's going to be incredibly transformative. And I think what I observed as you went through the experience, like there's something very telling about booking the studio or booking your shoot, and really having that solidified in your calendar and in your life that, wow, this is happening. It's like all those little things throughout your life, whether it was in like middle school, you were teased, or in high school, someone said you weren't sexy enough or beautiful enough. All those little things suddenly bubble to the surface. And it's this incredible opportunity for you to release, talk about, let go of those things, and powerfully step into this like new, complete and fulfilled realization of the beautiful goddess that you are through this transformational experience.
For sure. There was a lot of crying, healing, releasing memories of being bullied, and just getting that, like, the consciousness and being aware of our journey as human beings, as women, as we heal and move through these incredible spaces, and having the courage to actually do that was the most important thing. And what we realized, Chelsea, is that as we kept shooting with more women and the conscious aspect was there, we really got that, like, we didn't need to call it conscious boudoir. Just, it is conscious boudoir. Like, it is what it is. But it's more about that awakening process that we hold space for women to go through. Like, from the moment we have our first phone call to the posts that we have on Instagram, like our why starts from the fact that, like, we really get that every human being, every woman, especially in our case and in our target market, is a like light being having a human experience. So everything we do, our conversations, the way our shoots go, our opening meditations, like all of that stuff comes from that realm.
Amazing. Yeah. So it is an awakening, an opening up, and therefore the center of the experience. So you wanted to call it Awake Boudoir for that.
Exactly. And in the nature of what it is, it's conscious.
Amazing. So for our listeners to have more context, can you walk us through what the Awake Boudoir experience is like exactly? And from like the moment you decide to say, yes, I want to do an Awake Boudoir photo shoot, what exactly happens? What are the logistics? Tell us everything.
Yeah, sure. So Cam's like, this one's on you. So I got this. Okay, so what we do initially is that we would book a consultation call. It's called an alignment call. So I'm not saying that, every woman who's interested in having a boudoir experience is going to be the right fit. Maybe, it's our process won't work for them or whatever, comes in the way. It's like, we just want to make sure that both of us, because it is a relationship we're building, right? Is that both of us are in complete alignment. Like, she understands what the experience is. She understands as an empowered by the cost, the exchange. She understands what's involved on her part and what we're going to do to support her. So that's the first call. It's the alignment call. It's absolutely free. We get on the phone for like 20, 30 minutes. We talk about our mission. We talk about what she wants to create, what the transformation is. And Chelsea, if you don't mind me sharing, I would love to just share briefly about our alignment call, because
Totally.
it left me so inspired and moved. For all our listeners out there, Chelsea's intention was really to be held in the space of vulnerability. And when she said that, I was just like so blown away. I'm like, wow, that's exactly what we do. It's like we open up this space, this beautiful space that a woman may not have ever known she could experience before, or like not even known how to ask for that, you know? But knowing that that's possible as she goes into that space, and then being so vulnerable, like half naked in these like very vulnerable open positions with Cam as a photographer, with me there. It's like she's being photographed, right? Like you're being photographed, and you were also like having two people there, and then seeing your photos revealed with both of us there. Like it's such a beautiful experience for me to like observe. But so yeah, getting back to the logistics. So we'd have our alignment call. After that, if that alignment call absolutely goes well and we're like, yep, we want to work together, we would pick your shoot date. It usually happens within like a month or two based on our availability. Then the next call we would schedule is just more of an awakening call. So we get clear about, go deeper into the transformation, deeper into what you actually want to work on. And, you know, for Chelsea, it was all about just like really creating this empowered life, moving forward, creating new relationships. It was so beautiful.
And just to jump in there, I was going to say that that second call is really about discovering who you want to be after the shoot. Once you've gone through this transformation, what goddess being are you stepping into creating for yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. We do visualizations about, okay, so who's this woman as she sees these photos? Who's she being? Who's this woman a month from now? What does her life look like? What about a year from now? What is she doing? Is she in a relationship? So just like really juicy details that will actually help us step into that realm. Because the photos are just the end reflection of all that inner work that we do. So that's the second call. And then what happens is we actually record a customized meditation for the woman. We did that for Chelsea. We send it to you. We encourage you to listen to it in the morning, at night. Just really like be in that space. There's affirmations. It's just like very powerful. Maybe Chelsea, you could talk a little bit about the meditation briefly.
Oh, yeah. So after the second call, I got a meditation, and it's so beautiful. It's Cam's voice, his like soft voice, and it's just it like walks you through this visualization of like mine was that I was like at an ocean, like walking down a staircase, and then like by the ocean, and then you know like all these customized affirmations were read out to me, and it's just like it's very personal, and it's very it's such an intimate act of sharing, because like having after sharing what it is that like I want to create out of my life, and then a customized meditation is just so intimate. And I felt like I really let you guys into my life, and then it was just like, again, that feeling of being held in that vulnerable space. So that's what's so special about it, I think. And then you have it for life.
Exactly. You can listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
And you're going to experience different feelings after the shoot. Like, have you listened to it since?
Totally.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. She's committed.
Well, and that's great. And I love that. It was actually Casey's idea for me to record the meditation. Initially, it wasn't the plan. And she made an excellent point that, she's on these calls with, with Chelsea and whoever it may be, and that they don't actually get a chance to hear my voice or to connect with me. So the meditation was a great way for me to kind of channel this meditative space and really demonstrate that I'm connected with and aligned with, who you want it to be after your shoot, so that you could really feel and know that I was on the same page as you, that I'm in this experience with you, that, there's a comfort around getting to know the sound of my voice, so that on shoot day when I'm directing you and posing you, there's also more ease and alignment there. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that it was just so important to have that realm of connection, so that before you showed up, of course you had a background of relatedness with Cam, but it's different. It's like he's the photographer, but he's also in that space when he's taking those photos. He is your support. He's literally like walking with you. And knowing him before, knowing that he's committed to your transformation was just so powerful. And for me, like, I got sick for a week before I was about to do the meditation. I got sick. I lost my voice. And then I'm like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And I just tried doing it. It didn't work. And that's when I know, like, being tuned into myself, listening to the guidance, I'm like, something's not aligned. Like, I gotta think differently about this. And that's when I'm like, oh, I'm not actually supposed to do this. It's Cam. So
yeah, and it made the experience, I think, more holistically, wrapped into a package. Like, both of your energies were very present.
Exactly.
In the
like,
whole process.
The feminine and also the divine masculine. And I feel so strongly that the divine masculine energy in that meditation was so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So then we do, okay, so in terms of the process.
Let's do a review. So we have the alignment call, and then the second call is kind of the vulnerability call.
Awakening.
The awakening call. And then we send the meditation, and then we have another call, right?
Yeah, so we have another call that's actually with Cam. That's the prep call. So if you want to just talk briefly about that.
Sure. So the prep call is an opportunity for me to connect with you on the phone. It was very much more like a logistical call around what to expect for the shoot. Just that, I'll be posing you, I'll be directing you. I'm great at what I do, and I know the best ways to highlight the best parts of you. And ultimately it was such a great opportunity to connect with you and just kind of have a little chat. And you having heard my voice over the meditation, it's nice to chat and connect in that way on that call. It's so important to me to have that chance to chat before meeting on shoot day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the prep call, and that usually takes place just a couple days before the actual shoot. So we do it as close as possible so you're ready. And then the next part of the experience is the actual experience. So that's the day of the boudoir shoot. And that's usually, it can be a 6 to 8 hour day. It starts with 2 hours of professional hair and makeup. You met Aisha, our makeup artist, and she's absolutely phenomenal. It's very important that everyone who's part of the team is very aligned with our mission. And even our clients, it's like we're all doing this and co-creating this experience together. So on shoot day, so you have hair and makeup, we have snacks, and then after that, we do a guided meditation. So I lead that one. We have these incredible goddess oracle cards that we tune into. We receive the messages that we need to hear, and then we start. And the shoot itself can be anywhere from like 1 to 2 hours. And then after that, we take a break for about an hour or two while Cam lightly edits the photos, not much because we shoot in natural light, creates a slideshow, and then we have like an album ordering session where you can get your photos and figure out what works for you. And then after that, we're complete. And later we do have like a follow-up call, just a follow-up to check in, like, how are you doing? Did you experience the results you wanted to? How did you feel? And so that's the end. So as you can tell, Chelsea, I mean, you've experienced it, but it's more than just a photo shoot. For us, this is really what we're out to create, and what our intention is to create the world's most transformative photo shoot.
Yeah, and it's definitely that. And in connection with that, when I was preparing for this interview, I was reading about boudoir photography on Wikipedia, of course. And it's common, they say it's common for women to have boudoir photographs of themselves made as a gift to a partner, conventionally on the occasion of their engagement, marriage, or before an enforced separation, such as military deployment.
Wow.
Wow, what a great gift.
We didn't know that.
But, and of course, in this experience, you could gift the photograph.
Absolutely.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But for me, what was unique about this experience is that it really felt like a gift for myself. And it was a way of expressing self-love. And it was really a way to get connected to my own sensuality, which really lit me up, So I look at these photographs and I actually am like turned on, right? Because it's like
you're hot.
it's a representation of my connection to my aliveness, my vitality, and my spirit, right? So yeah, of course, gifting the photographs is totally cool, but it really felt like a gift for myself. So can you say more about how you create the context for that?
Well, I think you identified something really important that I really stand by, and I know Kacy does too. I think that when it comes to the experience that we offer, our avatar, the woman that is our ideal client, is someone who is doing this for themselves, that is looking for that self-empowering experience, and is really taking the photographs as a gift for themselves. And absolutely, you know, I've worked with women before who have given these photos as a gift to a partner, and that's definitely a possibility. It's a great way to demonstrate that vulnerability and that love, and also that power and confidence to your partner, and definitely primarily for me, it's definitely about the self-love and the self-empowerment around that experience and what it means for you and your life moving forward, and everything around that.
And, you know, all the relationships in our life, all the external stuff, the job, the relationship, the house, all that incredible stuff that, you know, we're here as human beings to physically experience, it really starts from within. Like that connection with our own spirit, like as a woman, for me, like the connection with my heart, with my body, with my spirit, with all the divine parts of me, like those come first. And that is non-negotiable, because I know when I'm in that space, I can externally be the best version of me for my partner. Like for Cam, I can show up. I can show up for my clients like you, Chelsea. I can really like hold space. I can, you know, that self-care is number one. And you ask like, how do we create the context for that? Well, honestly, like we put her first, and that's like so important. And if, you know, there's a woman who's healing, who's really finding herself in that realm, and I mean, all of us constantly are, and we're just on different levels and different spectrums, right, through our journey. But like getting where she's at and meeting her there, and from that place, holding space, that's like what we're committed to. And that's what I feel is just like so powerful about this like divine partnership between Cam and I, business and also love, where it's like we can hold space for someone to show up. This masculine energy is there to guide and move us forward, where like the feminine energy and the space holding that I bring is able to really like nurture and love and support her where she's at, and Cam is able to hold space to move her through essentially this like powerful eye of a needle, like just like to get her through that transformation, where she shows up on the other side. Oh, just got like goosebumps. But where she shows up on the other side as this like transformed, connected, empowered, self-loving version of herself.
Well, I love what you said there, Kacy, and something just kind of spoke to me from that, and around that, like the contextual experience leading up to the photo shoot. Is it, you know, our reality and our external circumstances and everything we see is just a reflection of our inner world, and really providing that context for the photo shoot. Like the photo shoot lives within the reality of you, Chelsea. That was your experience, right? And by going through the vulnerability, the affirmation, the meditation, the connection that you're building between us, when we come to that photo shoot, those photos really hold that radiance and that power and that confidence. I mean, you can see it in every photo in your in the album. It's just so steeped in that vulnerable love and fun energy that was your intention for the shoot. And it's only there because of the transformation that you went through leading up to that shoot, so that you could have that external reflection of the woman that you are inside.
Totally. And that is kind of what I find beautiful about the photographs, and why I chose to share mine online is like, it's really not, they're not beautiful because my boobs look a certain way or like my lingerie looks like X. It's because the reflection of my confidence and my inner being is coming out. So it doesn't even matter that like, you know, I'm like a little bit more naked than usual.
Your soul is showing up.
Yeah. It's the inner part that's coming out, which is so incredible.
Absolutely. And it's
Yeah.
such a bright light. Like the photo you posted yesterday. I mean, I was there for the shoot. I was there for the photo reveal. But just seeing you post them on your own social media and like the description and just what you showed up as, like that takes so much courage. And I was just blown away. I'm like, this is who she is, of course. So yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing work on your end.
Yeah. Well, you guys do co-creative experience,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I have to ask, when you tell people that you are Awake Boudoir photographers, do you experience any resistance in the face of that? And if so, like, what do you think the core of that resistance is?
Cam, you just laughed. What's up?
Well, I mean, to get, very real,
And that's why we're here.
and then that's why we're here is, sharing this with, family. It's definitely something that has come up in conversation, having family in your life. It's something that you share with them what you're up to, and, they have their own opinions and their own ideas of what's appropriate to do in your life. And sometimes, like in my family, I can speak to that there are some traditional values. I've seen that in Kacy's family.
So let's
as
get
well.
on the court. Let's talk about a conversation.
Okay, so when we started, I'll be honest, I didn't tell my mom that I was shooting boudoir. It just wasn't in the space for me to have that conversation. I had it with my sister, and then my sister spilled the beans
At Christmas.
at Christmas.
His mom's like, "Oh yeah, you guys do boudoir," right?" And we're like, yeah.
Yeah, and then ultimately, I just had the realization that I was creating my family to be, difficult around it. And once it was out and people were aware that this is what I was doing, I really didn't experience any resistance in that regard. And I think that there's something really powerful about sharing what you're doing with family, even if you think that it's a bit outside of the norm or a bit outside their comfort zone, and just really standing powerfully and really owning what you're creating in your life, allows them to connect with you in that way and connect with what you're creating, and get that for me, it's not, I'm not just like a guy with a camera taking sexy photos. I'm someone that is really committed to connecting with these women and providing this transformational and empowering experience. And, my partnership with Kacy really speaks to the power in that and the possibilities that we're creating for these women. And then moving, beyond that inner circle of my family and going outwards into the world, I found once I really had those powerful conversations with my family, in encountering people, friends or meeting people newly, really there was only positivity. I don't think I've ever encountered someone, in whether it's a stranger or a friend or an acquaintance or a mutual connection, I've yet to encounter someone that's like disapproving or kind of like judgy about it. It's just not in the space.
I think people are like initially like, ooh, like
Ooh la la.
yeah, a lot of people are like boudoir, or some people are like, what is that? And then you show them a photo and they're like, oh. Yeah, so for most people, like strangers that like we meet or potential clients, it's like they're like intrigued and like curious and they're like, that sounds amazing. But yeah, for family, even for me, it was just like interesting in the beginning because I couldn't really like come to tell my mom. Like she was away in India for like 6 months, and that was the time that we like launched our business. And I kept telling her, I'm like, yeah, we have a photography business, it's amazing, we empower women. And and she's like, that's amazing, I'm so excited. And then she's like, what kind of photos, like, can you show me? I'm like, I'll just show you when you get back. So it was a very like delayed share. And then when she got back, we like showed her the photos.
Yeah, and we showed her photos of someone that she knew
because she knew them because they were one of my friends, and they just decided to co-create with us and be like a model for our brand. And so she's like, oh, that's Nicole. And then she's like, is this legal? Like her initial belief was like, oh my God, you guys are like shooting porn or something. Like that's what showed up. And I absolutely don't blame her, because sexuality, being free about that, it was just like not normal in the culture that she grew up in.
Well, even just one generation ago, it was very taboo to even talk about this kind of thing. Never
Absolutely.
mind have a photo shoot.
Like, I mean, growing up, for me, it was, okay, you're going to be a doctor. And I, like, you know, study that for like the last like 10, 15 years. And then one day I like get up and say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And that in and itself was taboo enough, let alone going from somebody who's like going to be in med school to now like shooting boudoir photography. It's like a huge contrast. So obviously right off the bat, like I don't expect my parents to completely understand the process because I myself am still discovering what that looks like. But yeah, they're supportive and they're kind. Like even through the weekend, my mom was like texting me saying, God bless you for your business, your success. I love you. So they're, you know, more there to support us in what we want to create in life as opposed to what we do. And through the weekend, Chelsea, you said something really powerful too. You said that, you know, it's not about what I'm doing in life, what I'm teaching, what I'm creating, it's who I'm being. So I think that speaks more volumes. Like we are excited about life. Cam and I are just like grateful. We're happy. We're, you know, filled with joy as we do this. And our family, our friends, they can see it. So they're just like, okay, if that's what you would desire, go for it.
Yeah, totally. I think that it would be a different experience, you know, if I was like shy about it or uncertain about it in myself, then I think more resistance would show up in other people. But just my stand for this empowerment, this opportunity that I have to, you know, co-create with Kacy and co-create with you in this example, to, you know, create this incredibly transformative experience. It's just like that's what I get to do for a living. Like, how incredible is that? Like, I am so lucky and fortunate and blessed to be in the position that I'm in, and just there's so much power in that.
Yeah, like I think if any resistance ever shows up, like you guys mentioned, those little like feelings of fear, it really comes from like, this is my cultural studies knowledge coming out.
Yeah,
all
totally.
my education for this moment. But you know, like watching old films, it was very much that the trope of like the empowered seductress. She's like sexually empowered and therefore like morally wrong. And then there's like the woman dressed in white who's innocent and the good girl,
Yeah.
right? And those tropes are still very much like in the consciousness, like it's in the ether. But I think like definitely things are shifting now, and it's like once you get what this really is, and like it is not wrong. Like women need to be connected to their sexuality, their sexual power. It's just like so gorgeous, and people get that. People really get that.
It is oh so right.
Absolutely. Like there's like our sex, our sexuality, the parts of ourselves that, you know, we may be ashamed of, those were developed at a very, very young age.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, like in the last year, I've had so many discoveries about, you know, my own sexuality and where all this trauma and fear came from. And, you know, I want to share and be super vulnerable, but share this one story that like when I was younger, like I discovered porn at a super early age, and I would feel these feelings in my body. I think I was like 7 or something, and feel these feelings in my body, be watching this, and then instantly like have like essentially like what I now call an orgasm. But at the time I'm like, that feels really good. My little brain is like, what's happening? But like also in the back of my mind be afraid that someone's gonna walk in. And so it was just like this fear that I need to get it done, I need to do it fast, and oh, okay, relief. And then as I like move into life and like my relationships, my studying, whatever project, I realized I had this anxiety around getting it done quickly, or like not enjoying the experience or the journey but wanting the results so bad. And that showed up for me everywhere and created so much intense like anxiety within me. And I was like, what's going on? And when I actually related those two situations and dug deep and did the work, I was like, oh my God, that part of myself, that little girl inside me is so scared. And I've literally like taken her for like, because she watched porn, and put her in this like prison. And so I did this deep like dive and like went in and healed, and saw her hiding under the desk where she used to watch porn in her like parents' room or whatever, and rescued her and said, it's okay. You are okay. You did nothing wrong. You're, you know, you were just exploring. And I instantly discovered this relief within me and this awareness of like, oh, I can actually discover things about my sexuality. This is okay. Like, not just okay, but it's actually so important. And like, when I'm, in harmony with myself, I get to create so much more in the world and be that space for people. So that was over the last, 6 months, a huge discovery for me, which also allowed me the space to open up when Cam shared with me that he's, creating a boudoir photography company. I was like so clear that I'm on board.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That intimate detail, yes.
It's something I'd love to observe here. I'm just seeing for the first time, Kacy, and making this connection is that you went through that period of self-discovery, and really speaking to your inner self and saying, it's okay to enjoy the journey. It's not, you don't have to rush to get anywhere, to create anything, and then having this reflection of this Awake Boudoir company that you've co-created, where it's about the journey.
Whoa, absolutely. Well, that's
Cool.
a powerful connection. Yeah, I didn't even like realize that. I'm like just doing the same. Like, this is great. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
And it's part of your healing too, right? Because now that you've healed this, then you like give it to other people, right? You give them that space.
Exactly. And I was sharing with you, Chelsea, the other day too, is as you go through this journey, like on these calls and what you discover, like there's also all this work for me to do, because I got to be there to level up and hold space and be like, okay, let's do this. Like, we're literally in this transformative experience together. And I don't foresee it ever being that I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, great, here's another client. Like, there's no work for me to do. It's like, no, I am the kind of person that's committed to my growth. And of course, we've created this company that's a reflection of that we got to keep going and growing in order to actually have that transformation for other people.
Yeah, and along with that, like throughout the process, I felt really supported, and you guys kept saying, like if anything comes up, please let us know and share anything you're dealing with so that we can support you. But I'm wondering, have you noticed any patterns in terms of what women deal with in the face of this vulnerable and intimate experience, and kind of like what generally do women have to work through to be able to transform inside of this experience?
Well, something that's coming up for me around that is I think that the most common thing that we've observed is the unexpected nature of what comes up. And I think that it's so important. So we have our 3 structured calls, and more importantly than that, I know that Kacy really stresses that she's available by text, call, email for anything that does come up, because you discovered in your own experience, Kacy, that things came up that you hadn't thought about in years, that you never expected to deal with.
I didn't even know they existed.
Exactly.
There.
So it's like, it's that things are gonna come up that you don't even know are there to come up, and on our end, really creating the space for these powerful women to go on that journey of self-discovery and know that we're here to support them through that. That it's not just about the structured calls and the photo shoot. It's about really building that relationship of trust and love, and really holding them in that space of vulnerability as they go through this transformation.
Absolutely. And, Chelsea, there's no like cookie cutter response to that. It's like all the biggest thing I can say is that women just really, they get the opportunity to just be with themselves where they're at and have compassion. Like, some women will deal with, oh, I'm not ready for a photo shoot because I need to lose like 20 pounds or whatever. And it's like, great. And, you've been saying that for the last like 5 years, that's what you're going to do. And obviously now this opportunity comes up and there's resistance. So it's like there's something to discover and heal, and just get that you're beautiful exactly where you're at. So that may come up. For me, it was like, oh, like I gotta like wax my legs. I gotta do this. There's all this stuff to prepare. And of course there always is, but it's like those blocks can show up even more gruesomely. Like, that's what I discovered in my own journey. Anything else for you, Kim?
Well, yeah, and just observing that, like because boudoir, the nature of boudoir, like by definition, is just like that intimate, preparation to face the world in a powerful way. So it's like transforming the experience of, I got to get, my legs waxed before the shoot, to I get to pamper myself in preparation for this experience.
Absolutely. That's spot on. It's like, what do I need in my self-care and my self-love to get ready? What do I need to do? I get to go lingerie shopping. Ooh, what does that look like? I get to get my nails done. I get to, even having the professional hair and makeup. It's all just so like fancy and amazing, and you feel so loved.
Yeah, that came up for me too. It's like when I was like, okay. I initially was super excited, and then later it's like, okay, now I have a to-do list.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to go lingerie shopping, and I started getting stressed about it, and then I'm like, wait, I am doing this for fun. Like, this is for myself. Like, obviously I can bring that context to whatever it is. It doesn't need to occur like I'm checking this off.
Exactly. It gets to be new and fun, and not just the same thing as like getting all their other things done and check.
Yeah, and then the other thing that you said about the fitness question, because that's definitely
that's one of the biggest ones.
That's something that comes up for a lot of people. Is it's like, well, I'm not quite fit enough. You know what? Let me book the shoot like 3 months out, and I'm gonna go to the gym every day, and I'm gonna come to the.
I'm not gonna eat.
I'm not gonna eat. I'm gonna come to the shoot
my
super lightheaded and just get it done, and then go for a burger right after.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sure, and something that Kacy experienced was
like,
that
I can't eat chips.
you can't eat chips, no more chocolate, no. And ultimately, you really got connected to that. It's about the journey, and it's about the transformational experience. And you did have chips, and you did have chocolate.
And I realized I'm fucking sexy. Like, my photos, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Yes, I can totally, work out and do all that jazz. But in those photos right now, I'm so hot. And then I said to Cam, I'm like, I'm doing another shoot in 6 months, and this is how I'm going to transform my body. So the transformation of the body, of who I want to look like, what I want to create, wasn't from a place of fear anymore. Mm-hmm. It was like, I'm already great. Yep. And what would the possibility look like if I could do X, Y, and Z?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's exactly it. And really getting that, like, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you only ever see one angle, from your eye line to reflected to your body.
Right.
That's all you can see. So when you, where you're at right now, do this photo shoot, and you're like, holy crap, I am so fucking sexy. Can I swear on this?
Yeah.
Okay,
why not?
Cool.
I'll just check the explicit box
for this episode.
It is.
Yeah. I am so fucking sexy right where I'm at. And then Kacy, you shared with me that experience of being like, wow, I'm so sexy, even motivated you to be like, I actually want to invest in my fitness and invest in, really creating the body that I've always wanted, knowing that coming from a place of already being sexy and then transforming, down that road further. And it's not about like, I'm not sexy and I need to be. It's I am sexy and I can continue to be.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Chelsea, you saw your photos and you're like, I'm hot. What was that like for you? I would love for you to like share that.
I mean, it's just so much fun to, like you say, like I only ever look at myself in like 3 mirrors in the world, because it's like I'm getting ready with this mirror in my room and then the bathroom mirror, and then it's kind of like, that's it, you know? And then so like, to put on that nice lingerie, and then it's a day that's basically all about me. I felt like I was like receiving so much. And then just to like witness all the different angles, and it was just a lot of fun. And like also even just seeing my natural smile in a photo, because like we were having a lot of fun and we were really laughing, and then you captured that. It's like, when do I ever get to see myself actually smiling, not just like, hey, I'm smiling for a photo, like actually in
like
the spirit
natural.
of it. Yeah, so that was really cool.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. So and I want to talk a bit more about those transformations you've witnessed. So how do these women react when they see these photos?
Oh, it's my favorite part. I've had women cry. Like, it's just like they're strong and they're confident and they're powerful in their daily lives, and it's like there's like this child within them that, the child that was bullied when they were young, or the child that, saw those, women in the magazines, compared themselves to the magazine. They're like, wow, I'm not good enough. And then it's like, there's this feeling around, seeing themselves from literally like every conceivable angle and being like, wow, actually, you know what? From every angle, I'm amazingly beautiful. And really like seeing that and experiencing that for someone for the first time in their life, it's like that switch clicks and it's like, wow, I'm beautiful. Like I am beautiful just as I am right now in this moment. And there's just, and that's what's there for me around creating the incredible photographic experience, where we don't do like any editing. Like it's just so minimal, just some lighting adjustments to make sure that the shadows are good and the lighting's great in the photos. But ultimately it's like, you as you are right now are beautiful and sexy and powerful. And in that realization, in that moment, it's like, wow, this is what the journey's been about. And this realization is what I've, been creating for myself, speaking as the woman. And it's just like so powerful to witness the moment of transformation, because ultimately the transformation is a journey, yes, but it's that the transformation itself happens in a singular moment. And I feel like often the photo reveal is that moment, and it's so powerful, and so it's such a blessing to bear witness to that moment.
Yeah. It's so what I've experienced from my side is also like women, for sure, crying, moved, inspired, resistant to the photos too, because it shows you parts of yourself that's like, oh, I didn't know I was like that. And it can either go either way. It could be, holy shit, I didn't know I was like that, that's amazing, or oh my God, there's shame associated with these photos, this is wrong. Like there's stuff that literally comes up that Cam said in that moment of transformation that's there for you to transform. I can speak from personal experience that when I saw my photos, I was so shocked at that vulnerability, and I couldn't look at them again for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
I was just like, that's not me. Like there was like cognitive dissonance. Like literally it was just like, yes, I know I was in lingerie and I took those photos, and Cam, even though he's my partner, but I was so like vulnerable and felt so, like different than regular. Like it's like, yes, we're together, we see each other, naked and all that, but it's like a totally different experience to be in that vulnerable space in front of that camera. And I saw my photos and I like was ashamed. Like that's what showed up. And that was the transformation that I needed to make. And so I couldn't see them for like another like 2 weeks. And then we were doing a model shoot. So we were having a day with models, and we were just like using them for a portfolio. And one of the models was just amazing. Like, I mean, they're all amazing, but this one was just like so powerful and confident and fun and sexy and playful. And she's like, I don't know. I was just inspired. I'm like, I'd love to like see my photos again in that moment. And I was like, would you like to see them with me? And she did. And she's like, you're fucking hot, girl. You're so hot. And like, I like got the presence of another woman. Like I guess that's what I'm missing. That's what I'm connecting right now. It's like Cam was there for sure, but that feminine energy holding space for me was not there, because I'm that energy for other people. So connection. She literally held that space for me. She's like, you're so beautiful. Oh my God. And I just like started crying, and I'm like, she held me, and I'm like, wow, like this is so magical. And that was the moment that I'm like, yes, this is my transformation. I'm amazing. This is so it took 2 weeks for me to like actually get like, wow. So I'm so grateful that we get to give that experience to women right away, where like they're held from both the masculine and feminine.
Totally. Yeah. And I think that's so interesting too, is I noticed when I shared my photos online is like, I did get some guys being like, cool. Like, but it's mostly women who are like, yeah, girl, like I love this. Like it's like
celebration.
So, yeah. And that to me is like so gratifying, like us supporting each other. And it's really like a symbol of sisterhood, you know?
That was the word. You just took it right out of my brain. Yeah, sisterhood, tribal connection. And then they see you and they're like, I want that. And it's like everyone is just celebrating everyone's divine feminine.
Yeah.
Even the men, their masculine energy is holding space for that. Like they can do what they do. They're like, yeah, you look beautiful. Like that's essentially it. But the women can really hold you.
Yeah, totally. And another thing I wanted to share too is, because I think a lot of people might be able to relate to this, is like, you know, I have a history of really struggling with my body image, right? So like the past me would be looking at the photos from like a really critical lens, like, oh, you know, I see a little bit of cellulite there, or like, you know, I don't like the way my face looks there, or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
But the spirit of the photos is, they're so strong, right? And it's just like such a symbol. It's like an external manifestation of like my journey towards self-love, and just like being in that place where I can just own my confidence and be like totally complete with who I am. And it's like, now it's out there in the physical world.
Mic
Boom.
drop.
Mic drop.
Wow.
Yeah, Chelsea, thanks so much for sharing that experience and that perspective. That's really powerful. You know, speaking as a photographer, you know, we go through the shoot and we took about 600 photos that day, and it's just like, you know, when we're posing you, there's this like perfect moment in the pose where it's like the ideal photo, and then there's a couple on either side, and that's why we end up getting so many. But ultimately, the photographs that I'm presenting to you, every single one gives me a wow. Like every single one's like, oh wow, that's a great photo, or like, you know, she's so powerful or beautiful or sexy in that one, and it's like delivering that result to you, and then you sharing, you know, what you're feeling around that was in your personal transformation that you've gone through in your whole life, kind of leading up to that moment. It was like really, you know, speaks to me and to what Kacy and I are creating, and I'm really grateful for you sharing that. Thank you.
Cam's really moved. I can really feel his spirit, and yeah.
Yes, I'm moved.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah, and that's what it's about. You know,
That's what it's about.
Really saying that, like in that one moment, my journey was just like right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like honored that we got to hold space for you to do that.
Thank you.
As much as we set up the space, like you did the work. You showed up. You allowed yourself to be vulnerable and open and literally put everything on the line. And that is so powerful and speaks volumes about the person you are and who you're committed to really being for the world.
Yay!
Yay!
Let beauty guide you.
Yes!
Let beauty guide you.
So, as we know, this podcast is called Let Beauty Guide You. So what are 3 ways, maybe Kacy, we can start with you then, Cam. What are 3 ways you let beauty guide you in life?
Okay, so the first one is I always listen to my heart. I really feel that our heart is one of the most beautiful places on our body, like physically and internally. There's so much that it connects us to. It, you know, physically like pumps blood through our body, keeps us alive, but also like energetically and spiritually, like speaks so clearly to us if we listen. So I really think that you can tell when someone's heart is like beautiful and in the right place and connected. It's like, so for me, I've let my heart guide me as a symbol of beauty. So that's definitely number 1. How do I let beauty guide me? For me, I really value like the connection and the relationships I have with other women. I think that's so beautiful and that's so important, and not just like looking at someone being like, yeah, they're you know, beautiful, so I want to be friends with them. It's like their soul and their message and their divine connection. So that's really important. And then the third one is just like, I guess, could you rephrase the question for me? Because I feel like I have a lot to say, but I'm not able to clearly like come to the articulation of the,
you're so close. I'm just feeling it in your energy.
I'm feeling it too. I'm like, there's something there. So maybe you can just like support me with this, Chelsea.
Totally. So I guess like when I think of letting beauty guide me,
Mm.
there's just like things in my life that make me feel good or things that I relate to as beautiful. Like it could be a beautiful experience. It could be literally like an aesthetically beautiful thing. But what is something that you kind of like prioritize?
Got it.
Yeah. And let guide you into experiences or anything.
Okay, got it. So definitely the other two that I mentioned, and writing. Like that is like writing and meditation and those aspects of connection to my divine self. Like those are my priorities. Like I wake up in the morning and I meditate. I get connected, I ground myself, and then my writing, whether it's 3 pages, 6 pages, whatever, it's like that to me helps me like sort through all these things in my life, all these experiences, understand, come to conclusions. Like it's my process. Like it is my process of unleashing. It has led me to incredible travel experiences. It's led me to manifesting, the perfect life partner for me, riding through the emotions and experiences of dealing with new things, creating this business. Like that is, yeah, like writing to me, that form, beautiful notebooks, pens, like all that, the ambiance that I set when writing, my diffuser, my gemstones, like those are such a beautiful part of my life. And I really do allow them to guide me and let go.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying.
Well, Kacy, well said. I'm really looking forward to listening to this again.
Me too. So many nuggets.
Okay, so I feel like I've been preparing for this question my whole life. It's perfect. So I'm gonna break it down. I really feel like there's kind of 3 avenues that I've let beauty guide me, and it's like the way what I see as beautiful, the way I experience beauty, the beautiful things in my environment, and then also beauty and love and how it guides me. So the first one is like what I experience to be beautiful. So within the context of being, a spiritual being having a human experience, and in the context of Awake Boudoir, the only reason that I'm able to, create such beautiful photographs and capture these incredible moments is because of what I see as beautiful. And it's like tuning into my connection with you in the photo shoot and really getting connected to the parts of you that I see to be the most beautiful, like your confidence and your radiance and your playfulness and these beautiful qualities that you have, and just allowing my my physical body, my spiritual body, my mental body, and my energetic body tune into that beauty, and then kind of allow the camera to be an extension of myself and allow that inner compass of what I see as beautiful to guide our co-creation. So that's number one. That's the first way how I let beauty guide me. The second way is external environment. I really believe that the external environment that you live in is a reflection of your internal environment. And Kacy and I were traveling full-time for about 5-6 months, and one of the places we stayed at was a place called Ananda Village. Absolutely beautiful. Look it up. You'll love it. There's a tulip garden there. In the spring, they plant something like 60,000 tulips, and it is the most spectacular garden I've ever seen in my life. It's overlooking the Californian mountains. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's just to be in the presence of such stunning beauty that is ultimately a co-creation of hundreds of people over the course of 50 years, and this moment where you're sitting in this garden with the breeze on your skin, the colors of the flowers, the chirping of the birds, in this kind of meditative space. And it's like, wow, I'm really in the presence of spirit, and feeling that, this physical manifestation of, your universal beauty, particularly in nature, is kind of this guidance of you're in the right place. You're meant to be experiencing this now. So for me in my life, it's like those moments, those synchronous moments when I see like, a rose in the right place, or I see a hummingbird, or I see, a bouquet of flowers. I just love connecting with flowers, or even something as simple as, a beautiful car. It's like all these elements of beauty in our reality are a reflection of the budding kind of beauty within me. And I feel like witnessing that beauty is like an opportunity to see, wow, I'm really beautiful, and I'm able to experience external beauty because of that. Third way I let beauty guide me is Kacy is definitely my beauty in life.
Aww.
And when we were traveling, there were some times where I really trusted her. And, there was a time when we were staying at the ashram in California, and she was like, Cam, we got to go. We're going to Mexico. I'm like, okay. And then a month in Mexico, she's like,
Casey's
Cam,
heart just
we're going back to California. And I'm like, okay. And then a week in Cam, we're going to Toronto. I'm like, okay. And, and there's been times when, Kacy has said things to me that I didn't fully understand, and I was confused by, and even, just kind of like shaken by. And ultimately, I've always trusted her. Whatever she felt was an important path for us to take, I trusted her. And of course, I've always felt that trust from her. And, even just since the moment I met her, because there's something so powerful in that natural beauty that you have that attracted me to you in that moment when we first met, through the lens of a camera, by the way. And it was like, and then I'm realizing this now, we're kind of coming full circle on my 3, how I let beauty guide me, going back to that lens of the camera and the extension of what I see as beautiful. And it was that identification of that inner feeling of, wow, she's so beautiful, that ultimately created our experience together, our life together, and ultimately Awake Boudoir.
wow. Thank you so much. Very thoughtful, in-depth answers.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah. So, okay, last but not least, let's say our listeners want to do a photo shoot with you guys, a beautiful Awake Boudoir photo shoot. Where do they find you? How do they get in touch? What are the details there?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we're just rebranding so we were Conscious Boudoir. We had everything set up, had inspiration. We were like, we got to follow this Awake Boudoir. So we're in the middle of building our website. So the website is www.awakeboudoir.com. It's there. It's not currently up with all the details, but there is a place for them to essentially like put their email in, get on our email list. And then when we do have everything all set up, we'll send them an email to let them know. But if they're ready to do a shoot right now, and they're not looking for the website, they can definitely reach me on Facebook, Kacy Singh. You can put my profile. We're also on Instagram at Awake Boudoir as well. They can follow us, like our photos. They can get a sense of like what we're creating. Anything else for you to add?
Yeah, just feel free to drop us a line at hello. The email is hello@awakeboudoir.com. You can just reach out to us. We'd love to have a quick call with you, even meet you for a coffee if it's something that you want to talk about and you're uncertain about. And we're not looking, every conversation that we have, we're not looking for it to turn into a photo shoot. We just see these conversations as an opportunity to kind of have these transformational conversations. And we would absolutely love for those conversations to turn into this transformational experience that we're offering. It's just kind of the beginning of your journey.
Totally. And we're just like super open. Like however you want to connect with us through these sources, whether you want to have a call tomorrow or in 3 months, like whatever that looks like for you, it's like take the action, follow us if that's what feels good, like really feel into this alignment. There's all these sources for you, and we're just excited to share this, to like have more people know about this, what's possible, and share that expansion of consciousness.
Yeah, and then we are a photography company, so if you want to see our photos right now, Instagram's the best place.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being on Let Beauty Guide You, Cam and Kacy. I absolutely adore you both, and I hope this is just the beginning of our friendship. I love you guys, so thank you.
We love you too so much, Chelsea.
Yeah, we love you too, and I'm really grateful for the relationship that has bloomed and blossomed from this co-creative experience. So thank you.
Me too.
Yeah, and for the sacredness of it, we really, really are grateful and honored to have been able to hold you in that vulnerable space. And now for you to have us in your space, in your home, on your podcast, and really in your heart. Like, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. And thank you, listeners, for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to rate and review this podcast. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you all next time. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.